Fukuoka Prefecture, Japan. How are you guys doing? I'm not gonna pull you down this time. I almost like pulled you with this. I'm connected. So, what is this top fun thing? Ooh, ooh, now I see. Anyway, today is Japan's voting day. Ta-da! This is today's newspaper, Yomiuri Shimbun, and as you can see, these are party leaders from Japan, all their faces. So I wonder if you can tell which is which though. Am I really live? Sometimes I need to make sure. It's middle of the night though over there, wherever you are, probably. Am I live? Okay, it's midnight here. Happy Sunday. Yay! Thanks for coming. I know it's midnight. I woke up too late today. Had to work out too. And put makeup on to show up for you. I hope you get the result you were hoping for. It's not ideal from the get-go because LDP, our ruling party, LDP is somewhat like conservative, by Japan's standard. Like it's not good enough for me, but it's good enough for the society, if you know what I mean. And they're gonna lose a lot of seats. So Ishiba, our prime minister, has said that he says like, you have to decide when going into election, you have to decide like where's the line of like your victory, and this is House of Councillor election, so upper house election. So it's not really like deciding our power, it's about just picking the upper house. So 50 seats, there are two ruling parties, LDP and Komeito, the Liberal Democratic Party and Komeito, and they are aiming for 50, and that's low though. Their goal is already low, but they need those seats. Like if they get 50, then they get majority. So yeah, but then it's not looking good. And also it's 20%. About 20% of people, like voters, have already voted, because we can do that. I don't know about your country, but in Japan we have, like before today is the voting day, but people can vote before the voting day, and you don't actually have to carry anything. You can just show up, which I find very dangerous because for many reasons. But yeah, you can do that. So many people, including especially like young people who now check the news through social media and they're like, judging our politicians based on what they see on social media, which is not even like fact checked and so on. So it's really dangerous. But yeah, it says here that like over 21 million people about 21 million people already voted for the election. That makes 20% of our people already have voted. But usually for national elections in Japan, only like about 50% vote. So, and also like most people just go beforehand. We haven't voted yet, so we're gonna go after this. So I can't stay too long, but yeah. Thanks for coming, Yoko. Hello. How long does it take Japan to count the votes? Does it take 6 weeks like California? No way. First of all, like we have district election and also proportion. Is it called proportional? Right, proportional. So like wide. It's like national. Like as for this election this time, it's entire Japan. So two kinds. So we have to vote to. We write full name or party name in writing, unlike America. We can write, you know. So like, and we when we show up to the voting place, we get 2 ballots, one each time though. Like first go there, show up, you know, tell them who you are with the voting card, and oh, they will tell you, oh, Yoko Ishii, yay. And then they'll give you the ballot. I first write the district, like our prefectural one first, and name the person, and then go to another section of the place, and then you know, say again, and then they'll give you the second one, and that one is entire Japan for now. House of Representative election, I believe it's like block, so like it will be Kyushu area, like island, but yeah. But anyway, so prefectural ones are easier, I think. The proportional representation, that would take longer to count the votes, so it's usually like midnight or maybe early in the morning, depending on like if the candidate is winning bigly, then we instantly know like who's gonna win. And also for the in many places, like, or like the general projection, you know, generally like we can tell like the basic things, like, oh, will ruling parties win, like how many, like majority or not, and so on. That sort of things are usually told at the time of 8 p.m. That's like when they close the voting places. We already know who won by how far and so on, because all the media people stand at the polling places and they count, like I don't know how they do it, but they can just tell, you know, interviewing people. I have been asked questions too before, like once, like, oh, who did you vote for and what's your background and that sort of things, and yeah, and then they just know for the most part. And to collect all the, like, to count all the votes, it takes a while, but not like days. No, it's gonna end in like, you know, till midnight. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. I know that it's late for Americans. Thank you. Hello, I saw you on Twitter. Yay! Thank you for coming. Let's see, Yako-san. It's been a while. Yeah, it's true. Thanks for coming back. How is Trump polling in Japan? Can he become Japan president? We are not picking our leader this time, but it's gonna bind us for the next 6 years, because the politicians we choose this time, House of Councilors, meaning upper house, you know, their term is 6 years. So we have this election every 3 years, because like we changed elect the half of the whole House of Councilors, like by 3 years. There's a time difference. But yeah, so but I have President Trump is I don't know, it's hard to tell. He was really popular. Trump was popular, supported by many people in Japan during Abe administration here. But now that he's gone, and that our communication right now, especially with the Prime Minister Ishiba, under his leadership, LDP ruling party isn't doing well. So of course, like when the communication is not well, or like if our leader is not doing well, then, you know, it's hard to, like, it's not like, it's hard to put that into words. Like we want to celebrate something, you know, with Trump, but because our leaders are not doing well, like, it's hard, right? And Trump is strong though, and our side needs to be strong enough to have a healthy relationship, but our leaders are weak right now, so things are going difficult. What do you think about Miss Hirano, she's a right-wing candidate who thinks the Chinese immigrants have too many rights. She's popular on YouTube. Her own channel will vote for her. Never! Ever! I know her in person. She's crazy, so no. But it's hard to tell, I guess, through the internet. But no, she's a newbie, she joined us like, how many years ago? Like
19年
2019 or so. So like she's new to the field, and also like she doesn't listen to people. My husband gave her advice, or rather like told her not to team up with this guy in particular, who was said to be a spy, like he's recognized as a spy in Japan, but like she's new and she doesn't want to listen to other people, like, I'm gonna do it with this guy. Oh, you guys are silencing us or something like that. And it was such a drama queen. So, but I guess that's sort of like that sort of sensational appeal works, especially in Tokyo. In Tokyo there are many people, all kinds of people, and they're frustrated with politics most of the time. And what happens in Tokyo doesn't really represent the whole Japan. So yeah, I don't know. She's I wonder. That 放送禁止用語 My husband is saying some word, like he's sitting right here, but he had issues with her, like personally, because she doesn't listen. And so like he's like, and I can't tell you what he said because it's you can't broadcast that term in Japanese. I'm eating my hair. There's a hair here. I got rid of that. Crazy, just crazy, insanity, insane. So
super crazy.
and also like she's mentally unstable, like she has a Hong Konger boyfriend. I don't know what happened to him. That was why she came to this political field. She was, I don't know what happened to the relationship, but she was dating a Hong Konger guy. And then so like she wants to meet him, but she can't, so she's crying on social media. And I don't know. Like of course, like she's taking what's weird about her is that like when you run for election, if you have a certain number of votes, then the money you give, or like なんかね、
1500万もくれって言ってた。頭おかしい。
Yeah, she's like asking people to give donations for her, but some of the money gets returned to her if she gets enough votes. So she doesn't need, like, she just need to give and then get it back. But then she's like just asking for more money, and it's sketchy in that way. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, how is the immigration situation in Japan going? Regularly. My husband was cooking something. He's like, but yeah, it's LDP is a little slow in my opinion, but like, I think we have come to a good place or good time where our opinions on social media get reflected spontaneously, like immediately by our people and our government. So at least the LDP is working on immigration situation. Like some people are talking about Kurdish people in Kawaguchi, for example, and there are some weird people attacking our LDP, like conservative politicians. They're attacking them for some reason, but like LDP has been changing the laws to kick out all the illegals, and also like to urge them not to apply for refugee status if they are not refugees. So it's difficult for them to come to Japan for the conditions that they are applying for and so on. It's getting more and more difficult, and yeah, our system has been changing. So, but then on social media, people don't like those who are loud on social media. They're not actually reading the news or catching up with the changes. So they even like take, dig back in the past and bring the old videos and so on, which don't apply to the current circumstances, if you know what I mean, because that those videos go viral. That's what they're doing. So like, I bet that it's difficult if you're looking at Japan, with the language barrier especially, and cultural background differences and so on. But yeah. Anyway, Saseto is getting a bunch of press in the USA. I hope the coverage is negative because they are crazy. Saseto is, first of all, Saseto is not conservative at all. The party leader, like it's like a scam basically. So what they say officially and what the leader is saying contradict. So it's a scam already with that. And at least the party leader, for example, like he says that he will support the idea of having a female emperor. And for Japanese people, emperor, like our Tenno, is like basically like God. Like I shouldn't compare to God, but like what I'm trying to say, like it is a massive, like it's our identity, Emperor equals Japan to Japanese people. And the Sanseito leader is saying that he is okay, like he supports the idea of female emperor. That like that is what liberals say. Even like regular parties don't say stuff like that, like unless they're super liberal. But yeah, if so Japan's emperor is defined, like it's our tradition to have a male bloodline. So when we have a female we have a female in the imperial family, but yeah, and the liberal media and so on pushing her so that they want her to become our emperor in the future. But if that happens, if a female becomes that and have children, then the bloodline changes. So we don't want that to happen. But oh, super chat, thank you so much. Yoko no Zeikin, yes, thank you. Banzai. What's your take on foreigners on X pretending to be Japanese and trying to start up trouble and spread misinformation? It gives me a headache. It was interesting. There's this famous British account that is pretending to be Japanese. Is it Otaku Gatekeeper or something like that? It was interesting to see that he was pushing something, maybe Sanseito, I didn't really see that, but anyway, he was saying like, oh, we gotta vote for this and that, and then another foreign account cited and said like, oh dude, you're not supposed to do that on a voting day. That's so true. Like on a voting day, like today right now, like I can't tell people to vote for this candidate or not. It ended yesterday. If you do that today, that's against the rule. So yeah, you shouldn't push candidates or parties today. But he was doing that. I wonder, maybe it's British time. I don't know. It's really annoying when that happens. But yeah, I don't get the point of pretending to be Japanese. It's like they probably want to, appear stronger to other foreigners who like Japan maybe, But for people's point of view is that we want foreigners to actually get us, we want outsiders to understand us, that's where our validations come from. But if they pretended to be Japanese, and if people acknowledge those accounts to be Japanese, then that's just one of, at least it looks like it's one of us, and it's meaningless. There's not much value in that. So he should just, at least for the British account that I know of, like, he should just come out of the closet. He should just say, oh, I'm a British person, but he hates his own country so much. Yeah. What's that sound? Is husband cooking? I think so. Remember to give birth. Thank you for coming back. Who was the Japanese party saying it was time to develop a nuclear deterrent? Sanseito. The Saya said that, I think. She's a really good, beautiful person though. Like, I was with her when I helped the Tokyo gubernatorial election in 2014, I think. Was it that year? Around there, somewhere around there. They were doing, at the time she was working for this conservative YouTube channel called Channel Sakura. And those people were pushing the candidate at the time. I was an outsider, but I jumped in because I was popular at the time. People told me to go there. So they gave me money too to fly there to support the elections, to be able to, like, they gave me money, my supporters gave me at the time to not only fly there, but also like it covered my hotel fees and so on too. So that happened, and I was there, and those people let me in. That was very generous and tolerant of them. I don't know how that happened, but now I come to think of it, it's crazy. Like, what I was doing was crazy, but they were so mature, so let me in. So thankful for that. But anyway, the Tokyo candidate of Sanseito was there at the time. Like, she wasn't, like, there was no Sanseito at the time. She was there. She was so kind. She like, it was winter, like in January, so or to February, early February. So, and then my feet were so cold, and she was I remember she almost gave, like, I said no, like, no thank you, like, thank you, but no thank you, but she like a kite. Do you know Kaido? Like a heater, like a little heat thing, like it's warm, like we have it on our in our hands and so on to keep us warm. And there are kinds like you put in your shoes also. And she was like, oh, I have it if you want, like, such a kind gesture. But no, like, she's she would hold like an anchor, not anchor, but like she'll be there in YouTube shows and so on, speaking with the main guests and so on. And so she knows how to speak, she sings well, amazing. But she's just basically like, I speak my mind, but she doesn't, if you know what I mean. Like, she just with the people. Oh, thank you so much for your super chat. That's a lot of money. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you so much. Thank you for the insight into Japanese politics. Thank you so much for support. With your support, I'm like encouraged to do more. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. SB. Thank you. If you want to know more, I can talk more. But yeah, anything else? What do Japanese conservatives actually think about Abe Shinzo? Shinzo Abe, the internet just kind of disconnected. Shinzo Abe is like, now people are praising him for what he was not, It was interesting that, like, I have a Facebook account, and I'm kind of like Whenever I'm like frustrated, I just, let it out on Facebook in my own language. But then I got a troll, and talking to me about Japanese politics to a Japanese person. But yeah, that guy misunderstood that. It was interesting because, oh, Shinzo Abe was so good, but now LDP is bad and blah blah blah. But Shinzo Abe was a typical LDP politician. That's why we, like my husband and I and our fellows, like we were fighting against Shinzo Abe when he was alive and when he was our prime minister, because his policies did have problems because he's not perfect. And in addition, even if his ideology and policies are good, he has to win inside his own party, which is gigantic. What LDP does is that they have a gathering and they talk and talk and talk, and then they decide, and they're bound by that, so they can't speak selfishly. It's just only one LDP idea, so that they have democracy inside their party, but that's like national diet right there. They decide their stuff. So not Shinzo Abe couldn't, of course, like push his stuff also, and he needed to calculate the dynamics of what happens, especially diplomacy and economy. That like you don't get to do everything as you like, because you need to think about other people's positions and so on to, and compromise here and there so that he could push here another place and so on. So yeah. Oh, thank you so much for your super chat, Brabby. Thank you for the election update. Thank you. It's so interesting that you guys are actually familiar with Japanese elections. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It really supports my channel. Thank you. Where was I? So Shinzo Abe. So but at first though, when I came to political field, that was 2012. So I've been here in the field for 13 years now. But at that 2012 was when Shinzo Abe came back as our prime minister for the second time. And the first was probably like 2005 or somewhere around there. But he came back. I was supporting him, and I remember getting trolls. Like I was already a YouTuber and then turned into political person. So I got views, and then I got trolls saying like, oh, Shinzo Abe is a globalist and he's tied to Unification Church and blah blah blah. Like that happened since then too. But yeah, he was like, I would get like a globalist. Shinzo Abe is a globalist, pushing all this economy, getting like labor from foreign countries and blah blah blah. And then so that's exactly what the people today are bashing. So it doesn't add up. Their story, their narrative, the anti-globalism, like what Sanseito is saying and so on, like, yeah. And then at the time, like Kamiya was already there in the conservative circle. Like he's been active. Like when I got interested in politics, he was already there, having YouTube shows and so on. He was famous already, and he was not saying anything about globalism. Except for people like my husband and I and our party, we had our own party. At the time, it was Jisedai no To, and then Nippon no Kokoro Taisetsu ni Suru To, such a long name, and then Kibon no To, like it changed the name and so on. But anyway, at the time, like it was our people only, and other people were all supporting Shinzo Abe. They're pushing for globalism. Why? So like it doesn't. It's annoying. Yeah. Anyway. Yep. And also there are some so Tokyo candidate Saya, she recently went on Sputnik. Sputnik is not prohibited in Japan. They're rather very active, and some people actually use that for information source, which is crazy for me. But yes, I went there, and there are several people, who have been there. But every time whoever goes on Sputnik, we criticize. And so same for Saya, like she went on Sputnik. We're like, what the hell? you know, majority about at least 95 people, Japanese people, do not think Russia positively. Think of Russia positively. It's done it's shown by the polls by our government, and. So at most like 5 people like or can be friends with Russia, but 95 people, Japanese people, we just don't like Russia. It's not a recent thing. It's been going on since the early, at least like we fought Russia in 1904 to 1905, and then we had the World War II. They were our enemy, Not only that, we had a neutrality pact, and Russia one-sidedly discarded it and just came invade, slaughtered our people, and also took our soldiers, like towards the end of the war, they just joined in the war, and then they took our people, like 600,000 soldiers, as slaves to Siberia and made them work there. And like we have all these bad histories. In addition to that, of course, we have Northern Territory issues. So yeah, so it's crazy to think that like it's common sense that Sputnik is the Russian government's propaganda media outlet. Like anyone knows that. So why would you get on that? And not only that, like there are a lot of other stories coming out. Like there, people are pointing out the how Russia is taking advantage of Sanseito. So yeah, because they like confusion. If our society get chaotic, then that benefits Russia. Like it weakens us. Our policy. Politics. So. Yes, Super-chan, thank you so much. Do Japanese conservatives have an opinion on the Israel-Gaza conflict? 意見あると思う。
基本的にない。基本的にないけども、もう一つ基本的に、3つあるな。基本的に
My husband is my brain, by the way, so I'm asking him general idea of Japanese people. Generally, no, we don't have. Conservatives don't usually have opinions, but
で基本的にまずまた平和主義だろ。コンサバティブに限らず平和主義だよ。
It doesn't matter if people are conservatives or not. Japanese people are fundamentally pacifists.
だからイスラエルが攻撃するのも嫌だし、パレスチナがテロするのも嫌だ。
So we don't like Israel attacking Gaza or Gaza attacking Israel.
両方ともやっぱ
Yeah.
だけどもう一つ言うと、基本的に日本ではコンサバティブがイスラエル側で、リベラルがパレスチナ側だよね。
Even though that's the basic idea, like being pacifist, conservatives tend to support Israel and なんて言ったパレスチナ？
リベラルがパレスチナ。
Liberal support Palestine.
まあだからジャパンレッドアーミーなんて分かりやすいだろうって知ってるかどうか。
Japan Red Army. Do you know Japan Red Army? Yeah. There were terrorists. Yep. So yeah, but we don't. Some people, like some people, those who like politics a lot, they talk about Israel and so on, like Middle East situation, but most people like don't even pay attention to Middle East. I don't think. Yeah. People.
だから日本の場合は
Like it's so far away.
だからミドルイーストは安定してほしい。
Yeah, we just hope that the Middle East gets stabilized, because it does affect our like oil prices and so on too. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, like America is different because you guys are directly, involved in the picture, but Japan is not really involved to begin with. So yeah, but all kinds of propaganda is now leaking into Japan, flooding into Japan, especially because AI has has broken our language barrier. Japan was, of course, like we had disadvantage because most people do not speak English, um, especially like political things. It's hard to talk in English, and but in another the other aspect is that because of that we were protected, even though we couldn't insist our opinions and so on to out in the world, like China or South Korea or North Korea. They're having all this crazy negative campaign against Japan in the world to our allies and so on, friendly nations. Their targets, they try to bring down our reputation, to isolate us and to weaken us and so on. So that was the bad aspect. But the other aspect is that because we had a language barrier, our people stayed smart. you know we were not affected by whatever propaganda they had overseas. Like we could think by ourselves in our circle in Japan. Today, not only that we have social media outlets, which is the same one as the rest of the world, AI came in, so the language barrier is taken away. So those who don't have enough knowledge get deceived easily. So yeah. And also we recently saw the election, for example, in Romania, where this crazy, like this guy that people didn't even know locally, like he showed up as a candidate and he won, and they had to redo their election, if I remember correctly. So that's after seeing that, like I look at the election this time and I see the chaos going on, especially on social media, and I realize, just like other people in Japan, that we are affected by Russia's propaganda as well. It's crazy. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for your support. Shinzo was a wonderful man. He's charismatic. Don't get me wrong. Like I support him. Generally, I just had to do my political activity to push him to the right way, because he cannot do everything by his own. Let's see, anything else? I know this is late, but may Shinzo Abe rest in peace. Thank you. Awesome Prime Minister of our time. God bless his soul in Japan. Thank you. I think that I have, as a Japanese citizen, I need to thank Trump though, to be great friends with Shinzo Abe. I feel like, I bet that part of it, like Shinzo Abe acknowledged worldwide, has a lot to do with Trump. Like Trump and Abe was really close, and through that probably a lot of Americans as a start, like they probably learned about Shinzo Abe, and yeah, he was already like great, especially like in Asia and so on, and he had his policy. What's great about his policy was that he was visiting many different countries, like worldwide. It's his diplomacy. I don't know why it's called in English, but yeah. Let's see, any cool other question? No. Hawaii just got a tsunami warning from the Russian earthquake. Russian earthquake? What do you mean? Tsunami. Our southern islands have been shaking a lot recently. The people that cosplay as Japanese, they'll be discovered very quick. Yeah. Let's see. So I've been kind of quiet on X, but that's because we have election. Oh, speaking of Middle East, they do talk about Gaza on our front page. 75% of buildings are destroyed, and so on. So newspaper, of course, they talk about it, but you know, the problem that I'm seeing in Japan, like politically, is that like as for elections, it's become like a populism. Everything is now like populism. That is so bad because we need knowledge and intellectual people, you know, like not all elites are bad. You know, I think that America is different because like, you know, you guys, I don't know, like it's different how you do your things are different. But in Japan, like for example, like our bureaucrats cannot do things on their free will. You know, we have a culture of like obeying the system, and so people do not get to do what they want. But this is probably like these are all people. Can you see? This is the last gathering, or it's not like a gathering, but rally, I guess, of like, these are candidates here. 3 people here. Probably Democratic Party for the people, judging by the color and place. But yeah, like this happens a lot now. Like Japanese people are now interested in politics. So that's good, but it's kind of scary because now it's people do not have to take responsibility. Like parties, you know, they don't have to think about responsibilities. They just pick and choose what catches people's attention, just like Japan first, you know. Whatever they come up with, like commercials, you know, they can just say things and people will buy that. And in order to get an attention, parties have to say extreme things or different things, you know, sometimes including false information. So that has been our problem, especially this time. Ooh. You wanna look at the normal news? This is our guy Akazawa with Besant だっけ？名前忘れた。この人。Besant. So our guy is flying to the United States soon. This coming week, I believe, and they're still negotiating because the mutual tariffs will be 25% for Japan, and it's if we don't do anything, so that's August 1st. So we need to hurry and do something. By the way, I saw Besant's picture. Like he's just, you know, him wearing a suit and just walking, you know, but it looks cool, you know, like, yeah. And somebody posted the picture of that kind of Besant looking cool picture on X, and the caption that the guy put was like, "Oh, look at Besant, he's so fit." He's so fit and slender and looking cool, you know, unlike our guys in Japan. I didn't repost that because it's kind of, you know, it's not right to talk about appearances that way, especially today, you know. But yeah, but it was cool because and people were reacting like, oh, because in America you have to be responsible and you have to be able to like manage your own health and body to show that you have abilities. So that was interesting because our politicians often, especially this cabinet, our prime minister is kind of big, so are his aides, they're big, like especially their belly. So that when they wear suits, it doesn't look good. So like people have frustration with that. Anyway. Anything else? Any news on Australia in Japan? Usually, when there are like joint exercises or some meetings happen, there are, but it doesn't like as for regular news. I don't know. Like our newspaper tried to cover everything from the world, the entire world, but not much today. Especially because today is Sunday. Sorry, I don't have other newspaper from other days. Oh, I see Trump senpai here. Let me see. Right, America did have some moves about your budget, right? Trump. Yay, Trump senpai. It's Trump actualizing his promises one after another, which says, it's positive. So that's good. And then of course talking about, I think, it's actually about preferences. That's interesting. Some numbers here. Yeah. Oh, this is interesting, by the way. Russia, social media, WhatsApp is gonna get prohibited. It's gonna get banned in Russia. Oh, speaking of Russia, I saw the news of this American family moving to Russia for LGBT, like thinking that Russia would be a good place to live in because like America is, when it comes to like LGBT thing, it's bad. So like they moved to Russia, and then he was supposed to, and then he had to sign up for military, and then he was promised to stay away from like combats, but then he got sent to the battlefront and so on, and there are some problems there. So don't ever believe Russia, man. They're tricky. They will send you to. It was the Daily Beast. Anti-woke dad who fled with family to Russia sent to war zone. See, it's on this website. Yeah. Be careful. Be careful. They are even using North Koreans, so they're struggling. So they will use whoever they can. I find it disgusting how the leftist American voice actors for anime who always speak about their woke politics didn't mourn for Abe-san. Oh, they didn't? That's sad. Those American leftists shouldn't work for Japan. That's sad. Like, whenever sad things happen overseas, Japanese people usually react, if there are especially companies and so on. They show their condolences and so on. I used to think that, for example, like, even in China, Japanese anime is popular, and I do have mixed feelings about it, but I think the positive side of that is that our culture and our thought process, or what you call like ethics and morality, are exported to China too through anime. So that's good, right? Like it affects them in a good way, like they get to be exposed to our culture through anime, and they like it. So that's amazing. Just like Hollywood movies brainwash us, just like that. Japanese stuff going to other countries. It's great, but now like you guys tell me like those voice actors in America change the lines and change the content basically by the lines that they're speaking and so on, and it's I'm like, why? Like, it's sad for us. It's terrible. Not only that, like creation gets distorted, that's something that I can't tolerate. But in addition to that, like the positive side of the export is now damaged, so that's not good. But anyway, super chat まさそうね Thank you so much ありがとうよこの税金を払ったバンザイバンザイありがとう as always Thank you so much Thank you, thank you, thank you. With your super chat, I'm getting a good vibe. So I'm gonna go vote after this, and probably the guys that I'm gonna, write the names of, they're gonna win. I get the feeling. I'm in a good cycle now. So thank you. Yeah. I wish Sunseto had a policy to ban foreigners to work in Japan's video game industry. That would be wild. But I don't know, like, there are some, like, foreigners who really, if they truly love Japan, they actually, what's the word? Like, overachieve compared to us. So, sometimes, like, foreigners, with their true love for Japan, not like egoistic mental problems, but when they genuinely love Japan, they work for traditional things or do martial arts and so on, and they carry our tradition while we are absent, and that's something I find is amazing, because Japan's many people on the right side, people on the right side in the world, they often have a misunderstanding of Japan's culture, but like thinking that we are against foreigners. We're not really. Like we are, but like there are levels, and we like. Especially when the percentage is low, when there are not many foreigners and the foreigners respect our culture, we are really thankful for that. Yoko, what do you think of metabol law in your country? Like metabolism, or like people being fat and trying to stop them? I think it's good, right? Health is encouraged a lot in Japan. I heard that someone going to a clinic and then he has to take like a certain drug, to get the cholesterol in his blood, goes up. Like they wanna stop that, so he takes medicine, and then like every 2 months or so, like when he goes to the clinic, he gets like advice, or like it's like a lesson or class, basically. Like they like educated by the clinic, like, oh, you need to focus on your health and so eat like this and not that, and so like they get educated now, but it's so superficial though. But I guess it's good enough. But yeah, things like that are happening too. But like it's a health is taken seriously culturally, I feel, in Japan now, because we will have a lot of the elderlies. We have a lot of elderly people now, but yeah, there'll be more. So, and we can't sustain if they are not healthy. So yeah. By the way, do Japanese know that Treasury Secretary's Besant is the highest gay man in American politics history? What do you mean gay man? Is he gay? I don't know. Let's see. Has there been any incident in Tokyo, Akihabara, or in Shinjuku, like bad things that has to do with illegal immigration? Not that I know of, but I sometimes see people complaining about tourists or some residents in Tokyo, like making the place filthy, like dirty and so on. That's something that kind of posts. I see that kind of posts sometimes on X, but generally speaking, like all those immigration related stuff is like a local thing, so it's not common. It really, like Japan. People think that Japan is a small country. Our land is actually big, and we have many people. Like, yeah, only 1/3 of America, but that number is actually big. And in some areas like around Tokyo, there are like international places like Shin-Okubo, I think, of Tokyo is very international. It used to be like Korean people living there, but now other foreign people live there. So if you visit there, that's not like Japan. Like there are many different types of people living together, and the community is interesting. But yeah, we have some places like that. So like it's true what's happening there, but it doesn't mean that elsewhere is the same. You know what I mean? And what's interesting is that like through convenience stores and so on, for example, like what so-called convenience stores, like 7-Eleven and so on, they hire foreign people now, and it's common throughout Japan. And of course there are more exchange students and whatnot, and also like foreigners in general, there are more foreigners, but like usually they're assimilated into our society, but because like they're respectful, but in certain areas that's not the case. So yeah, it's not DEI, it's like economy. Like it's not because we want to be nice to foreigners. We are not Germany. We're Japanese. So like it's more about economy. But then if you speak Japanese, I really highly recommend subscribing to Tsuneyasu Takeda, the offspring of Meiji Emperor, Tsuneyasu Takeda. He has good points about immigration and so on, and also our emperor, like Japanness in general. I was watching his broadcast, like a live broadcast the other day. I think he was talking about immigration and so on. Kind of like he was referring to like population decline, and he was like, it's a good thing because it's okay because we can do things with less people now with technology and so on. So, and I completely agree. But economic field, people in the economic field, business owners and so on, they want to keep their payment low to get profit, right? And that's the problem, because they are pushing the hiring for foreign people for cheaper labor and so on. So yeah, it's like we need to think about the talking points of like what's really happening. Like, is the decline of population really bad based on the technology advancement, and how many people are actually needed to sustain what we were doing before, and are there any industries that are gonna go away with AI? If not, if that's the case, then population declining is not really a problem. It's just industries shifting and so on. So we need to consider all these things to think about the decline of population decline and so on, and the pyramid, the reversed pyramid and so on. Anyway, let's see. USA now making all visitors pay a $250 deposit. I love it. That's a great idea. But Chinese people, for example, though, super rich Chinese probably don't care. They've got money. Have you ever been to the US? Yes, I've been to the US twice when I was 19 and also when I was 23, so that's a long time ago. That's a long time ago. 23. What's that? 16 years ago? What? Is that it? Am I calculating correctly? Crazy, man. I was 20 years ago. Dude, I'm getting old. No wonder I have lots of gray hair. I need to dye my hair now. This is natural color, but I'm thinking of like dyeing my hair again. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think like some people say like we need to tax our foreigners and so on because they have more money. And also like it's like they can probably afford it and so on. Like we do discuss stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm turning 40 next month. No. But Westerners are so nice because they like you guys can't tell Asians, you know. We are forever young too when Westerners look at us. But within Asians, we can tell who's old and who's not, of course. So I do look old, you know, in Japan. Stop reminding how old I am getting. But yeah, speaking of America, visiting America, yeah, I went to, for the first time I went to Virginia. I did visit Washington DC a little bit to see the pencil looking building and so on. I did see the White House once, but I had to stand in front of the, like where they rally and so on. I think like they had a fence, so I couldn't really see or go near. So I was sad. But man, Washington DC was so hot. Like I remember visiting Washington DC and it was so hot and like it hurt my, like I was wearing, of course, like I was wearing a tank top. It was like a burning, and it was hot, but not really hot because it wasn't humid. It was so dry, and it was my first experience like that, like different climate. So I was like, what is this? Like it's hot, but it's not hot. I was so confused. The second time was in California. I was staying in San Diego, but my guy at the time ditched me pretty much because of the economy crash in 2008. I was alone in a motel next to, like right close to Mexico, like the border. I went to a mall to kill time, and then I changed my plan and visited my friend studying in San Francisco at the time. So I did go to a inside a university. Like so that was cool. Like they were selling, like there was a store selling their university goods and so on. So yeah, and then I saw the Full House, and then the red bridge and so on. I really want to go back to America with my husband, like really knowledgeable husband, and visit America again because I know that it will look very, very differently now, you know, with my awesome knowledge now. I always liked America, you know, but now I look at things differently. So we need to get Yoko the United States again. It's been too long. Yeah, thank you. But your super chat really helps me. So when I have more, like bigger audience and have bigger support, then I think we could support, you know, visit America. Man, if only we could visit like Washington DC, we would get connected with the people, and it would be awesome. If you want us to fight China, or if you want to fight China well, you should use us. Definitely. My husband, you know, like we are a team though, but my husband mainly speaks speaks to our parliament members. I just join his meetings, but we visit our parliament members often in Tokyo and talk to our members directly to, ask our favors. And they, because we go to the like-minded politicians, they welcome us and reflect that what we want to their policies, or or sometimes we organize events in the national diet, meaning parliament. We want to do that more, and we are connected to a lot of our parliament members, and we do have many connections in the world. Like every day, like we talk to people from like literally different countries. It's been amazing, but yeah, the financial part is something that we need to work on. Golden Gate Bridge, yeah, that bridge showed up in the Apes movie. What is it called in English? Apes. Saru no Wakusei. I saw that monkey or whatever, it was so handsome though, by the way. How do you call that in English? I forgot that. Planet of the Apes. Yeah, wasn't there one of the series, like wasn't there the bridge included? It was so cool. Yeah. And speaking of movies, my husband and I, we plan to watch the dinosaur movie, Jurassic World, is it? Jurassic World だっけ?
そうだよ。
Jurassic World. we want to see that. There's Mission Impossible now in the theater, but we are like, oh, we can probably watch that later on our tiny screen. So, but the dinosaurs, we want to see that in the theater. So allow us to have some fun time watching American movie. Yeah. Yep. I'm Japanese, but I like your video because your English is not perfect. Thank you, I guess. Washington DC and California, you pick the worst places. I've never been to Texas. Both my husband and I are interested in Texas. Hopefully we get to visit. I would be very happy to see more Japanese tourism in the US and vice versa. Good people, yeah. Like our cultural standards are very, very similar. Like yeah, and also like we just have common values, common sense, and that really helps. Like I took it for granted, like because Japan is close to America, and we do things together in politics, and I thought that other countries are like that too. Of course, European countries, of course, like we have common values too, but aside from that, I realized like we are actually the minority. Like our economy is big in the world, but when you think about like countries, the number of countries, we are actually the minority. Isn't that kind of crazy? Yeah. But Texas, in Hawaii, yeah, Hawaii too. Ooh, I mean, it's something like for me to improve mine with you. Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah. I used to do that. Like I used to talk to Japanese people all the time, like in chat rooms, like online, and practice English together. And it's so stimulating, right? So, in Texas, you should try barbecue beef. Oh, I want that. Ribs from some independent small business shop or something. Now you're making me drool. Like I used to I used to be such a Japanese person, like a typical traditional Japanese. So when growing up, I used to like only like fish. Like I really liked fish. I didn't like meat when I was growing up. And I also liked vegetables and fruits, but no other things. But especially after I got married with my husband, he likes meat. He's such a thin person. He's so slender, you know? But he loves me. Like he's thinking about me all the time. And yeah, he turned me into a meat person. So now I'm like a meat. I'm like, oh, I want some. Uh, yeah. If you're okay with dropping, I'd recommend anywhere in the western third of the US outside of the cities. Most of it is beautiful no matter where we go. Ooh, sounds nice. Yeah, it'd be nice. I'm kind of scared of like desert looking places though, like a lot of sand. That I say this because when I've visited India, and when I went there, I was like panicking. Panicking because I couldn't see the blue sky. It was covered with smoke and cloud, and like I was seriously panicking. And when I go overseas, like it was the same for America too. Actually, like the color of the mountains are different. It's probably due to the climate, but enhance the color changes. But yeah, like when I went to America, part of me was a little panicking in Virginia. I remember like, oh, I see trees, but they're different, like driving, right? But I see the trees and it's like formed in the same way, but the colors are different. And part of me was going crazy, like, what is this, Because in Japan it's like deep green, looking kind of blue sometimes. And when I visited Hong Kong, it was pretty similar, or Taiwan, it's similar. But yeah, because it's probably because it's humid and so on. But yeah, so like when I imagine going to Texas, I'm a little concerned. Like I need to have a lot of bottles of water or something, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I get scared easily of like instincts level of things. So yeah, I don't have a driver's license though. My husband will have to drive. I wonder if it's easy to get a international license. That's the thing about like Chinese people here too. Like now it's getting reviewed and it's gonna change probably, but like it was said that like Chinese people or foreign people can drive like easily here, like without much process. Like they need to answer really basic questions and they just get it, easier than us. And the crazy part is that they're the outsiders, so it should be more difficult for them, but it's actually easy for them. So yeah, you would probably love Alaska and it's closer to you. Oh, Alaska. Oh, good idea. Yo. Guys, no more super chat. We need to go vote. So, if no more super chat, I need to go vote. I'm in Florida. Oh, do you see what is called? Crocodiles? Do you have crocodiles? Is it clock or croc? R and L are confusing. Crocodiles. Are there many like? How is the diversity in Florida? The backgrounds of people, ethnicities, and so on. Is it white people or from the southern part of America or crocodiles? Oh, alligators. See you later, alligators. I like the pun. See you later, alligators. Alligators. I like reptiles, so I like seeing alligators, but I'll be scared if they are just walking around. Do you know how to fight them? What happens when they come close to you? Like if I ever visit Florida, I need to know this information beforehand. By the way, speaking of animals, in Japan, it's been a problem that wild bears, are attacking Japanese people. We don't have, big population, it's declining, and now bears are eating us. It's not good. It's not always it's not like they usually attack, scratch, and go away or something. But it was interesting to see the news recently about the same bear coming back. Like we have the DNA, from the past. Like this bear attacked 74-year-old or so, somebody in the 70s years old. She got attacked, she died, and our people kept the DNA, of the bear. And then recently the mailman got attacked by the bear, and he unfortunately passed away. He was around 50 something years old. He died while delivering a newspaper. So sad, but because it's in the earlier time, And then it turned out that from the hair that was left, they detected it's the same bear coming back to attack again. It's horrible. Horrible. If you want to shoot things in Japan, come to the north area of Japan and help us. Oh, Sebastian, thank you so much. What's the common sentiment about the Americans in Okinawa? Regular. Just a regular, but leftist. Local people are thankful because, it doesn't matter which country that is, like Japan or the US, when there are bases, the locals around that area of each base prosper thanks to the people that come. Their families all together, they come, they drop their money, shopping and so on, right? And there are more events, and also population wise too, usually bases are built in countryside or something like that. Okinawa cases is a little different because it's tied to history, but anyway, yeah, it helps the population too, economy and everything, it works well. But as for Okinawa is where China wants. China wants to take Okinawa, so they are actively supporting all these leftist movements in Okinawa, movements against America. So they campaign, together with the leftists in Okinawa against the US, go away US military and blah blah blah. They even sit down on the streets, and didn't that person die? Sometimes they just just like environmental activists overseas, they just sit down where cars are coming, so they do that. And yeah, it's terrible. But our conservative friends in Okinawa are against it. The locals, of course, they are with Americans, So, and of course, they interact through some events in the base and so on too, and many date American soldiers probably. So it's all good, except for leftists. But the problem of Okinawa is that the only newspapers that they can get there are extremely leftists. So we were pushing conservative paper there, but it didn't go well. So yeah, they're brainwashed. But so every time there is some incident, like American soldiers, like like a raping a girl or something, like leftists love that. They make a fuss out of it, like they go crazy, to use that politically to attack America. And because we know what they're doing, using the sad news to attack America, we see that, and we know that not only Chinese but Korean too, like, because we see the language behind the boards of like what they're holding and so on. So like it's been bad, but we know the motives of what they say. So we don't just take the messages as it is. We see them politically. So like you don't have to worry about Japanese people's sentiment about America in general, because even now people have problems. Like some people, like not everybody is like me, like I love America, but it's not always the case, I guess. But even so, China, North Korea, and Russia, they are the threat for us. And America, at least, like we have alliance, we are allies, and American, like U.S. bases are what are protecting us. Whoever is in the political field with common sense, they know, like all people know that we are protected by America, U.S. bases and nuclear umbrella. So we are not gonna go against America. Yeah. But I guess that's why Trump can be kind of aggressive even against Japan sometimes, because he knows. Nothing to worry about, just don't get close. Alligators. And it's not like they're everywhere. Okay. I used to watch this YouTube channel back in like 2008, 9, 10 or so. And this guy he lives in Tallahassee. Was it Tallahassee? Like Florida, somewhere in Florida. And I used to watch this like daily vlogs, and he will film alligators, like, oh, alligator! And I'll be like, what? I used to be surprised. Bear attacks are unbearable. Oh my gosh. Nice one. Yeah, unbearable. Bear. Just watch some Steve Irwin before you come in, you be all set. What is Steve Irwin? Where was it? I need to know this. Irwin? Oh, this guy? I just see some alligators. Oh, cool. Wow, looking like America. America. But it says he died in Australia, not America. Australian Zukiba, sorry. Australian looking like America. Cool. Is he making popcorn? I wish. He is. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, he's taking care of our kamidana, like a mini shrine. Because we have a so-called sakaki. We have. How would you explain that? I should know. Sakaki desu. Google translation. Sakaki. How to say sakaki? Sakaki. No. Like we have some plants, next to, just like shrine, in front of shrine, we usually have trees, and they're protecting the shrine. But just like that, when we have like a mini shrine thing at home to pray, there's, yeah. You don't know Steve Irwin. You love him. He did a bunch of TV stuff before he died. Cool. Crocodile Hunter. Cool. Videos with him frightened the stingray. I should make a shrine. Seriously though, like, no, Shinto doesn't really contradict from Christianity, if you are wondering, because we don't talk about God. We talk about deities, So what we are looking at are different, Like, as for Shinto, our recognition is that the world was just there already. We don't talk about the beginning of everything or God, who he is and so on. Like, we talk about, okay, so there was this space, and then our people, our deities, grandson came to Japan, or like to the earth, basically to this realm from the other upper realm, came from there, and then stir up the ocean to make the land and blah blah blah. So it's different. So yeah, but I don't know what you think about all these beliefs, but Japanese people generally, we worship the nature because we are afraid of the nature. How earthquakes and flood and typhoons, like, it's been crazy here. So like, we have always not only appreciate the nature, but also make sure that we respect enough so that the nature doesn't get angry. And in addition to that, worshiping nature, another thing is ancestors. We always think about our ancestors, and in a lot of, as I said before, in a lot of religious groups, we write, even like Christian-based religions too, here in Japan, like or Buddhism, doesn't matter. We draw the family tree, because we can collect information to at least for, several generations back. But Democratic Party though, when they were in power like before Abe, the second time Abe, before that, they stopped the system basically. Like we can only go back for what, like 150 years, or I don't remember exactly, but like there's a limitation now, and now they get rid of all the data. But usually we can go back, like we have many materials, and then we draw family tree and worship. And I think it's really important, we need to remember the history and so on, so that there is this world that we cannot see with human eyes, but we have a soul, and we do leave body, but we still exist, right? So like we cherish those people that have passed too. Voting day on any other day than Tuesday feels weird to me. Really? Because that's the case in your country. In Japan, voting day is Sunday, right? 日曜だよね、日本の投票日っていつも。必ずね。
すべて。
It's always Sunday in Japan.
アメリカはチューズデーだ。
Super Tuesday?
チューズデーじゃん。
Tuesday. Always
大
Tuesday.
統領選チューズデー。
The presidential election in the US is Tuesday, but here it's Sunday. It's probably because we need to work. Anyway, how very peculiar. They limit your family tree, that is insane. Like in order to draw a family tree, you need to collect information, right? And our city halls usually store all the data. That this system is something that other countries do not have, but it's called koseki, but you can, it's like which family, who's the father, who's the mother, and then all the information with address and who was born. It's like so official. It's, you can't fake it, and it's connected to this family, your ancestor, and then this is connected to another. Like it's all stored, officially, and it's the identification for Japanese people. So whenever we apply for something important like passports or driver's license and that sort of things, like it's all tied, like we need to get a copy of that to take it to the place and so on. Yeah, so that's how official that is. And then but because they need to store it and there's the cost, they wanted to, like when the Democratic Party was in, when the Democratic Party in Japan was in power, they basically cut all this costs that, like they wanted to cut the cost for our country, but they just have different values, so they cut the things that are important. So yeah. Anyhow, is it dead body behind the dark curtain? Why? How did you know? Just kidding. Yeah, I have a cool, like a sun catcher thing my mom gave me a long time ago. Anyway, it's 5:30 p.m. Sorry for keeping you awake for so long and late. Arizona, I lived in Arizona. It's very nice, but it's hot and there are some dangerous animals. Man, when I went to America, the craziest thing for me was that everything is big in Japan, but even mosquitoes, in America, but even mosquitoes in America were so big. It frightened me. So scary. The mosquitoes in America, it would suck up all my blood. I'm a tiny Asian. It's so scary. American mosquitoes are scary. Yeah. It's big. Japanese mosquitoes are just tiny. Tiny. But Americans ones are good. That's the impression that I have of American mosquitoes. Just big, like America. Scary. But I would love to have an official family tree just to keep that information for my grandkids and stuff. Yeah, you should definitely do that. Like, we learn history to be connected with the people in the past, and also like it's so like it becomes your pride and confidence, the roots of yourself. When you know your roots, it somehow empowers you, so it's really important. And spiritually too, I think it does have this miracle. And it's interesting that every time I meet somebody great or some families that are prospering, they do the traditional things. You don't have to know why it's efficient or why it works, but you just have to do the tradition because it helps. And someday science will catch up. Yeah. Like now, like I'm interested in law of attraction and so on. So yeah, some people say it's stupid, but I really believe in the vibration and everything. You gave us those big ass hornets. What is that? is that? スズメバチ。Interesting. Yeah.
ホーネットってスズメバチなの？
昔そういう空母があったけどね。
There was an aircraft carrier named Hornet. Really? Yeah, yeah, it's interesting how like we do have like foreign kinds like plants and insects and everything, or fish even, because some people release the foreign kind to the river and it affects the food chain and so on. By the way, if you open Japanese Google, it has the, can you see the Google? It's a voting thing. Cool. Yeah. Let's see. Cute bugs voting day. Yes. Yes, sir. Motivates you to be a good person when you see how many people came before you. Yeah. And that's why, like, winners write the history, right? It's really, history is important. And like, just think about when you die, like your soul will probably live. I don't know what kind of teachings you have in your religions, but are you gonna die? Like, when you die, you'll still be conscious probably. Like, you just don't feel it in your body because your body is dead, but your soul will live, right? So when that happens, those who remember you want to help them, right? I will help all the people. I will be a cool goddess. And basically I would haunt people that speak ill of me. Yeah. Huge ones you have in Japan, the orange one. Oh, yeah. Wonderful community Yoko has. Yes, you're talking like Yoda. Wonderful community Yoko has. You're talking about something cool. Anyway, anything else? Should I go? Okay. Question: believe you get a new body. Ooh. But you don't believe in reincarnation, right? So interesting. Japanese people don't realize it, but we believe in Shinto and Buddhism. People don't realize that though. We don't think about religions because it's so like, it's accustomed, it's in our everyday life. So, yeah. 配信ありがとう。また次回。Yeah, I should go. ありがとう for super chat too. Or you gotta go too. I guess we should all go then. Good luck with the vote. Thank you so much. And for super chat too. For the longest time. Thank you so much. I wish I knew I had vocab to describe my appreciation. But yeah. Yep. Anyway, let's I'm gonna go vote. Wish us luck. Oh, I forgot. Lastly, I will show you. This is like senkyo election thing, and we have all this information. Of course, we have like a framework, like there are rules to have all this, like, how big should the photos be and so on. There's a limitation, but yeah, all this information, and we are gonna go vote. Yeah, this is election stuff. Okay.
Good luck はね、ないよ。
Good luck. We don't have good luck. We're gonna lose a lot, so it's gonna be chaotic, and Japanese people will probably go insane.
もう
Right.
あらゆる意味で今回の選挙は最悪だよ。
Yeah, one of the worst election in history probably.
保守派はいっぱい落ちる、大
Yeah.
事な保守派。
Our like even those politicians or I mean candidates who are close to us, conservative, they will not make it this time.
問題はもう誰が落ちるか。
Yeah, it depends on who makes it alive and who doesn't. So yeah.
一番の焦点は明日2時に石破が辞めるかどうか。
だから今晩ね。
いや違う、明日の2時。
明日
明日の2時に記者会見するんだから。
スケジュールがおかしかったよね。
明日の
So
2時。
tomorrow 2 p.m. Japan time. Tomorrow 2 p.m. Japan time. Ishiba is gonna have our prime minister is gonna have a press conference, and the biggest take of that will be whether he will resign from the prime minister position or not. He must quit because it's the second time that he's gonna
違
lose.
う、サードタイム。
Third time?
だって衆議院選
あそこ最初の
都知事選も負けたからね。
都知事。
あと
都議選。
うん。
都議選。
国政選挙の次に起きる。
そう。東京 election.
3 out change.
3 out change.
やめるかもしれない。
Yeah, Ishiba keeps losing, and this time he even lowered his なんていうかな、なんか standard. So, but yeah.
ノーマルな人間ならやめるの。
Yeah, normal leaders would quit. So that's the biggest thing that we need to pay attention whether he will quit or not. But even if he quit, like LDP is still gonna be most likely in power. So, nah. Okay. Anyway, I keep talking. Who do you want to win this election? There are many candidates. I'm pushing LDP and Democratic Party for the People. Ishin is okay, and
国民民主も OK だよ。
それを言った。
うん。
Yeah. Another, yeah, some like that. And
あと個人
yeah, and individually we are pushing people. But yeah. Anyway, we're gonna go vote. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for your super chat too. I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. Thank you. It helps my channel. It helps my life and political career. Thank you so much. Okay. Have a good day or good night. Okay. Sleep well. I know that Americans especially. No, it's late. Thank you so much. Okay. See you next week. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye.